All right, so we always hear the media and the Democrats using the term alt-right, which apparently means alternative right. This was a term invented like a year and a half ago by Democrats looking to demonize anybody who's a legitimate conservative. People like, whether it be Breitbart or Milo Yiannopoulos or Roger Stone or just people who are not establishment Republicans, basically fall into the category of alternative right. So they act like, oh, these people are like Nazis or white supremacists, and they might call, they might say, hey, look at this white supremacist, he's part of the alt right. So the term alt right actually gains some legitimacy because, hey, those people are actually bad people. But then they go on and call people again like people who are conservatives, they lump them into the alt right. I don't even like that term because I don't even know what it means. Like, what does that even fucking mean? I don't know what it means. I mean, nobody has really explained it to me. So the media invents this term alt right, but they don't invent the term alt left. See, they consider there's radical people on the right, like white supremacists and Nazis. Somehow those people are like on the right. Again, why are they on the right? I don't know. But if the media is going to do that, then they have to call out the radical leftists too, like Antifa and parts of Black Lives Matter, who have done thuggish activities. So the media was talking about, it's the 1 year anniversary of Charlottesville. All these right wingers, these crazy white supremacists are going to be out protesting. But that's not what happened. What happened was you had radical leftist groups like Antifa, radical leftist groups who were advocating violence, who were doing all these terrible things. But yet the media didn't talk about that. They didn't cover it. They didn't talk about how awful it was. They didn't talk about how these people were chanting things like death to America, like America sucks, and advocating for hurting Donald Trump and all these terrible things. So they only cover these issues when it's a radical right wing group, and I don't even like calling them that. I don't like calling Antifa far left. I don't like calling white supremacists far right. But the media does that, so I'm only doing that in response to the media and the Democrats calling people alt-right, because I don't even think those people should be called that, because it really makes them more legitimate than they should be, and it puts a bad name on people who are legitimate in their political beliefs and who actually have good political discussions to bring to the table and who are moral people, because most people in the political discussion are moral and are good people. They just have different viewpoints than other people. So I think it's wrong to even lump these people into the political spectrum. They're outside of the political spectrum because they're horrible people, whether it be Antifa or the so-called alt-right. Again, I don't know what the alt-right is. And then they acted like, oh, everybody who went to the Charlottesville rally a year ago was a bad person. No doubt there was bad people on that rally, on both sides of the issue. But they're, just because you want to keep a Civil War statue standing and are advocating for that doesn't make you a Nazi, doesn't make you a white supremacist. I mean, I think it's a petty issue in my opinion. But just because you fly a flag in your back, a Confederate flag or whatever, again, it means different things to different people. It doesn't mean every single person at that rally was a bad person. And that's what Donald Trump said. He's like, hey, I condemn any racism that happened at that rally, but I don't think everybody was bad at that rally. And it's wrong to say that every single person at that rally was a terrible person, because that's not how the world works. Just like with Black Lives Matter, there's a lot of bad people in that group. There's a lot of people who advocate for killing cops and advocate for these terrible things to happen to cops and just, argue outright lies and are terrible people. But there's also people in that group who are very peaceful and are merely saying that black people get killed by cops and that's wrong. I disagree with that, but they're peaceful about it. So there's good people and there's bad people, and that's all Trump was really saying. So In closing here, I really don't like the term alt-right that the media uses, because they call out people who are radical, like white supremacists and Nazis, but then when it comes to Antifa and Black Lives Matter and radical people who are more on the left, if you want to even, like I said, I don't like saying that because I don't believe they should be involved in the political spectrum. They don't deserve that. But if you want to call them that, the left, the radical leftists, the media doesn't call them out. They don't call out Antifa. But when there's one white supremacist out there, they call that out, and then they act like that's how America. They look at, we found one white supremacist at this rally. Look how racist America is. I heard there was like 20 white supremacists here. I mean, like, what the fuck? I mean, that's all. I mean, white supremacy is such a small issue in this country. I mean, do you really drive around and see all these white supremacist groups all around them? No. I'm sure there's a few, but I mean, when's the last time you saw a fucking KKK guy walking around your neighborhood? I mean, it's not a big issue in my opinion, and it's really overblown by the media so that they could gain ratings and that people could be convinced that there actually is a racism and white supremacy problem in this country. It's like when the media was using the term, white nationalism. Steve Bannon's a white nationalist. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? It's like, I'm a nationalist, I guess. I like my country. I have pride in my country, and I'm white. What, does that make me a bad person or something? I don't fucking know. So the media really loves to attack people who are, again, so-called on the right, who are, who are bad people. They use that to demonize people who are legitimate, who have legitimate ideas on the right. And then on the same end of the spectrum, there's people who call out Antifa and people who call out Black Lives Matter and use that to try to represent people who are on the left, who are moral, legitimate people. So I think it's wrong to classify those groups as that, because, again, it really demonizes people who are legitimate in their political beliefs and who are good people, because there's good people who are liberals and there's good people who are conservatives, and it's wrong to use the few bad ones, the few bad apples on both sides of the to demonize legitimate people on the left or the right. So there you go. There's my thoughts on that.